evening. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me this evening on Cornerflex. I was going to say another name, but that name is not in sync or with TikTok, or TikTok doesn't like that word, that name. So therefore, I've changed it to Cornerflex, and Cornerflex is whereby we have, uh, you're on the corner. You know what it is when you're on the corner. When you're on the corner, and you sometimes having some lavish or so, but we try to do it in a sort of formal setting. So tonight I'll be joined by Miss Carla Gullotta. She's the convener, the chair of Stand Up for Jamaica, and she's gonna come on about 4:30, which is 10:30 UK time. Um, People are trying to, and I'll be on Facebook, YouTube. Let me get Instagram as well. Let me just start the Instagram. It's going to be on Instagram. Going to be on, so we are on YouTube primarily, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You're going to be on TikTok as well. All the different platforms as well, and just to get the ball rolling. It's a lovely day. It's 27th of the 9th, 27th of September 2020. 25. Yeah, people are trying to do that. Do show do trying to do what do you call it? Um, Discussion with me on TikTok. Like, I don't know, play games or something like that. Not now. Good evening, Belina. Belin, being welcome for having. Yeah, welcome for having everyone on tonight as well. Much appreciated. You know, there's a lot which is happening, like in the UK. Parji Hannah, hey, how are you doing? There's a lot which is happening in the UK. Let me just turn this thing down. It's a bit loud. Um, there's a lot which is happening in the UK, and I want to touch on first in the UK, because in the UK there is something big which is happening. Um, there's this thing called this digital ID. Yeah, digital ID, which the Prime Minister is somehow trying to unleash on the people, you know, trying to unleash on the people. Yet it was in the manifesto. Yeah, I'm going to actually show where the petition is, and there's a petition which they did. The petition is at, where is it? Where is the figure? 2,031. 2,031,000. There it is. There's a petition which is there now. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And this is very important. I just spent a couple of minutes on this. This is very important because how this came about. This came about, and it's like I don't know. I did a video the other day, and the video was like it's like the government is somewhat government sometimes when they come into power, they feel like they have to get busy to work on the people. They feel like they have to get busy. And why I find that, why I say they feel like they need to get busy, is like they can't give the people some time to just relax and chill. you know, they can't get the people them sometimes relax and chill. And I had something here a while ago. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Where is it? I did find something a while ago. Sugar. I thought I had something a while ago about the whole thing. Yeah, hold on. Yes. Yeah, the government announced the rollout of a digital ID scheme expected to be implemented by the end of the current parliament, which is in the UK, which aims to curb illegal immigration and simplify access to public and private services for UK residents and citizens. This digital ID will be free, stored securely on smartphones, will act as alternative proof of identity. Yeah. Employers will be required to verify this digital ID for everyone starting employment. Everyone. Making an element of right to work checks. Right to work checks. But they say it is for immigration. The initiative is positioned to replace complicated paper-based identity verification, making process like applying for driver's license, childcare, and welfare more streamlined. And the scheme is being marketed as inclusive and secure, with accessibility features planned for people with disabilities and safeguard to protect users. Personal data, digital credentials will be encrypted and stored directly on devices, giving users control over the sharing of their information. And the government is launching a public consultation to address concerns about inclusivity and data privacy. Civil liberty group and opposition parties, however, have raised questions about the practicality, privacy implications, and effectiveness of the scheme in reducing illegal immigration. While police will not have the authority to demand digital IDs, holding one will be mandatory for employment. And the government's messaging stresses the deterrent effect on illegal work and border control. Now, of course, as you can see, the petition, which is going up and is going up by the second, 2,033,010 signatures, which is there now. 2074, it just keep going up. It just looks like when Reform was having their list of all their numbers climbing, and it just climbing. Look at that. 2,033, 155 signatures. I believe by the end of the day, might be at 5 million, if anything. But a lot of people are very opposed to this, because this was opposed before when Tony Blair tried to get this in the UK, and it was opposed. At the last, with the coalition with Lib Dem and Conservative, it was opposed again. And it's like Keir Starmer is trying to get this via the back door. Now, a lot of people have been saying that he's been controlled. But one thing for sure, we have seen that Keir Starmer somehow seemed not to be a person with a defeated. Actually, don't know the resolve of actually where he's at. And they came across to say that this is something to deal with immigration and migration. But when Charlie Staples, what about the BBC reporter, was pressing the minister with responsibility and saying, do I have to have this? I don't need a job. I mean, he's got his job and everything like that. He's got everything. And he's saying, do I need to have this? And it's like she's trying to explain herself. So it is not, you're not forced to have it. We're not going to have any penalty, but it is compulsory to a certain extent. And it is very concerning, because if you check it out, in the last few days, there's a nursery which has been hacked recently, the dark web, the co-op recently, and also the legal aid has been also, being hacked. And it beggars belief to see what will happen with all this information. So many persons are saying many things, some conspiracy theories or what, but I tell you what, a lot of conspiracy theories have been proven to be not conspiracy theory. Even after the COVID period, a lot of it has been proven correct. So what the petition is saying, we demand that the UK government immediately commits to not introducing a digital ID card. They report that this is being looked at. So it's there. It is climbed up now, 2.034053. So that is what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? Digital IDs are just a way of social control in the name of immigration. Yes, the name of immigration. Really compulsory, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, I believe that if people really stand their ground, these things won't become into play. The British people will have to develop the British Bulldog spirit, and they will have to demand and say, hang on a second, Mr. Prime Minister, you are our servants, we are the boss, and therefore do not implement things on us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Oh, sorry. I was there dancing a while ago to people thinking it was YMCA by Trump. Yes. So therefore, I wanted to talk about something else, which is upcoming, and it is there's an election with. Hey Kim, how are you? Good Kim. Go on. Welcome. Come over onto the YouTube side where you can see everything and what's going down. Or if you want to stay over there in the TikTok zone or the TikTok zone, welcome to those who are joining me on Instagram. Welcome to Tolat Yvonne Sek. Good evening, good evening. And for those who are on Facebook, Moby and Sonia Care. What's up? Let me actually share this a bit. Please share this in the meantime. Let me share this a bit on Facilitators for Better Jamaica. If you don't know, Facilitators Better Jamaica is an organization which I had formed many years ago. And Facilitators for Better Jamaica, it is around 12,000 or so persons, and it has to do a lot with lobbying, and especially when they had the airfares duty tax, which was so much hard on Jamaicans as well. And we did a lot of lobbying with British Airways, lobbying against Virgin as well, trying to get lower fares, trying to find different ways how you can travel to the Caribbean without actually going to the same route. So we were trying to find different ways. Had meeting with British Airways and say, if you don't roll it back, we're not gonna go with you. We're gonna boycott you. But of course, to talk is one thing, having the people behind you is another. That's what I always say right these days now. Whenever anything I'm going to speak for, anything like even the Jamaican community as well, you make sure you have them close with you. Because you may make some movements or whatever like that, and you find yourself only out there. So what we had a difficulty with is people did not want to toe the long line by going to Europe, where it could be work out cheaper, or people just couldn't bother and they just want to go the long way. So hence the reason why you got British Airways going to Kingston, Virgin Airways going to Montego Bay, and they sort of monopolize the whole thing. That's why you see these airfares so high. So that's what our Facilitators for Better Jamaica did. Sonny D, good afternoon. And the other thing is this: there is the diaspora election. There's an election which is upcoming. Let me show the video, the flyer of this. This is very important. There it is. Be a part of the process. The Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council. Your vote matters. Coming soon. Be a part of the process. Vote for your candidate of your choice. Now, what is this about, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know what it's about? Anyone know what it's about? Well, I'll tell you what it's about. It's about the diaspora in the overseas territories like Canada, UK, USA, and of course you're seeing the Middle East now, whereby there are representatives, and these representatives they call it the Diaspora Council. This was formed from 2004, 2006, 2008. I was a part of the initial steering group that formed this organization. This is working in partnership with the government of Jamaica, and it was reformed whereby they have now the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, right? And there's an electoral committee. Somebody messaged me tonight and said they're an electoral committee is responsible for the conduct of the elections and will consist solely of members of the diaspora. So therefore, if one is based in the UK, then you're eligible to vote for it if you're a part of the diaspora. And by part of the diaspora, you're a part of Jamaicans in the UK by birth or descent. Yeah. There will be a total of 4 positions to be filled, with both councils electing 1 representative each to serve the UK South region and 1 representative each to serve the UK North region for both the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council. So there are 2 forms there, yeah? And why it matters, they said, this plays a vital role in shaping government of Jamaica engagement with its global diaspora, right? Elected representative will advocate for the interests of Jamaicans in the UK. Note this word, will advocate for interests of Jamaicans in the UK. And I repeat this one, this is very important. Advocate for interests of Jamaicans in the UK, contribute to national development strategies, and help strengthen the bridge between Jamaica and its overseas communities. And who can participate? Members of the Jamaica diaspora residing in the United Kingdom, whether through birth, descent, marriage, or Jamaican heritage, are encouraged to take part. Further information regarding the timeline, so that's going to come up soon. But my charge in regards to this all the while is this: don't just join up and be a part of this to be a part of a profile thing or profile guinea gog. I'm saying this to anyone who is contemplating that. Don't just join up with it just to say you can go meet ministers and go to Jamaica and profile, lavish and all them sort of things. Because this is what it says: a vital role in shaping government of Jamaica's engagement with its global diaspora. It said elected representative will advocate for the interests of Jamaicans in the UK. So therefore, that is one of their sole purpose. What we find, and what I've found, and what many people have said regarding the groups and the persons who have elected recently and in the past, they do not speak up on issues from the Jamaicans in the UK or concerns that they have. You never hear them speak about issues when it comes on to issues regarding the government, things to do with integrity, integrity commission, things that with the government that many people in the diaspora speaks about. They never say anything like that. It's like they don't want to rock the boat because in a sense it is deemed like they are under the somewhat control of the ministry with responsibility for the diaspora. And there's a ministry responsible for the diaspora. That ministry comes under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Minister Terry Long, I think he's still the Minister of State, is with responsibility. But it has happened with successive governments in the past. Therefore, I think it is something that needs to be revamped. So my charge for anyone who wants to do that, make sure that you do it with the right spirit and with the right heart, and not to be a profiler. Not to be a profiler, because we're gonna find you out and we're gonna kick you out. I'm trying to say, don't be a profiler, right? That's a new job description. So want us to reach a criteria for this job, and where's the interview held? Yep. So all of that is going to happen. Hey, hashtag, what's going down? So yes, so that's a diaspora bit there, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to be touching on something in about some voting bit with Miss Carla Gullotta, because she is Italian, and what she's saying is that she votes in the elections in Italy while she's in Jamaica, right? And that is something that we're going to have a quick talk on that as well. So that is very important. Yep. But the central, and another thing that I wanted to say this, and I just have to drop this one in. Because someone messaged me earlier. I did a video when I said of the ministers of government in Jamaica. Yeah. I place this one up there. I place it because this is Cornerflex, where we talk on different things. There are 35. There are 35 MPs in the government, the Labour Party. 35 MPs, and of the 35, guess how many of them, ladies and gentlemen? Let me see. Roll call. Guess how many are members of our ministers and ministers of state? Of the 35. Who can tell me that? Who can write that down? This is a quiz time. There are 35 members of parliament. 35 members of parliament on the government side. How many of them are ministers and ministers of state of the 35? I'm not talking about the Senate yet. Who can guess that? Who can guess that? Oh, Price. I think you've been listening to me, huh? 27, yes. When they're going to say 27. 27. Ladies and gentlemen. 27 MPs are ministers of government, and 3 senators are also ministers of government. Kamina Johnson, Dana Morrison, and Auburn Hill. 30, 30 ministers of government and 2 parliamentary. And I think I'm in a minister. I think there's 31 ministers, 32 persons. And so it comes to around 600 million, more than half a billion. So I said, so someone said to me, succession is necessary to continue the progress. I listen to your pros and cons, but I still believe we are doing the right thing to continue the path of prosperity. No sitting around not doing anything while collecting my tax dollars. Each must make their mark so we can smoothly transition from good governance to great governance in the next generation. Right? So I said, good afternoon. Now, that's not what ministers are there for. Ministers are not there for dealing with succession and dealing with training. That's not what a minister is there for. Because guess what? The person that you're training, guess what? They could lose the next election and they're not about. What? 700,000, 700 million. Backside, somebody just said 700 million. Juno Whitley. No, my days. Somebody could correct a while ago. Not 600 million, 700 million. That's what you guys voted for in Jamaica, man. Take it, man. Take it. There's no guarantee that who's being trained will win. The next election, only in Jamaica, them do that. Only in Jamaica, them do that. 32 ministers, over $500 million to taxpayers. Shocking, unbelievable. You know? Shocking and unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You know? Yeah? Anytime, I'm on the show now. Yeah? Anytime. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is something. Training for they're training for the Republic. Somebody said that they're training for the Republic. So what would the fifth person doing? What? I don't know what the 4 or 5 person doing. They'll maybe just looking around and just enjoying it, you know. Shocking and unbelievable. And people need to know this. People need to know this because you see, this is how I look at it. I look at it this way. And this is it. This is it now. I wish I had some props, some music to play. But anyway, this is it. So if members of the public within that constituency of a minister want to raise an issue in parliament which might contravene or contradict a policy of the government, do you think that minister will want to raise it in government when they are now part of the government executive, where they are confined or constrained with this thing called collective responsibility? Yeah. Anyone can answer that, right? So therefore, the people now are at odds. The people now are not being represented. Now, 400 and so thousand people voted for the JLP, 400 and so thousand people voted for the PNP. So maybe they're happy with that. But the 1.2 million people that did not vote, they also still are represented by the government or by the MPs in those respective areas, right? The other set of people who are not on the voters list, they are also represented by the members of parliament as well. So therefore, there's a responsibility. So likewise, so therefore, who is going to be speaking up for these people? Who is going to be speaking up for these people? Because right now, all the MPs, they might as well say all of them, 80%, are now part of the executive. And Johnny's entered walk the streets of New York and no one hail high. Where's that? I don't have that laugh. I don't have that laugh thing there. Where's that laugh thing there? That laugh thing is on TikTok, isn't it? That laugh thing is on TikTok. I think it's on TikTok. I don't have that laugh thing on my thing. Sound effects. Here we go. Laughter. Here we go. I mean, this is Cornerflex. This is where we have a conversation about that. You know what I'm trying to say? So here we go again. Louder. Oh boy, I tell you, are we need to scream? Ah, wait there. But on a serious note, though, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very serious matter, though, and it must be taken very seriously. While even though at the same time I'm joking about it as well, but you know, can you imagine in the? As a matter of fact, I don't know. I need to do that. I'm going to do that and post it. I need to check in the UK as to what is the cost for MPs, what is the cost for what is the salaries, what are the salaries for ministers, and how many Secretary of State there is in the UK, and how many junior ministers are there in the UK, and make that level of comparison. I think I have a duty to do that, so I'll do that. Dreams and visions, therefore. So that's very interesting. But anyhow, I was reading something that Miss Gul Miss Gullotta sent me, and it was that um now let me do something first. Let me do something first. There's a young lady who passed away in Jamaica. Uh, her name is Tyra Spalding. Tyra Spalding. She passed away, and I don't have a picture of her. And it is sad of what happened to her. She was a former Miss Jamaica, or I think, or so. Not Miss Jamaica, but a contestant or so. And she unalive herself, you know, committing, you know, and just watching her video, and I could see she was a she was a lovely soul at the same time, but you could see that she was actually crying out. And so all I want to appeal to persons who watch this as well is to listen out to the persons who are crying out, but they are not saying. It's like listen to what is not being said. Yes, yeah. Listen to what not being said. Yeah, listen to what is not being said, and that's one of the key things. Is to listen to what is not being said at all. And and all I can say at the same time is to really take care of your mental awareness. Don't take it for granted, right? Don't suffer in silence. I remember one day somebody said something to me, and then there's issue with their neighbors, and nobody had made any complaints or anything. And I said, don't suffer in silence. Yeah? Don't suffer in silence. Share with someone. Sometimes the person might not have the answer, because when we used to say mental health and say mental and say Bellevue and all in places, it thinks you're mad. So once you say mental health, you're thinking someone mad. But really and truly, mental health is mental health. So you got sickness and you got health. Likewise, if someone have diabetes, someone have cancer, so you have physical health and you have good health and you have bad health. And that's what mental health is. So we all have this mental factor. Men have this pressure sometimes whereby they are deemed to be the providers, they are deemed to be leaders, and so well, leaders are so, but sometimes they are not able to deliver that, so they feel pressured. People in jobs going through hassles, waiting for something not happening, they feel pressured, right? And yeah, and people are and during the COVID period, if you remember during the COVID period, that was something else. There were key factors: lockdown, isolation, um, you know, quarantine and shield. Lockdown, isolation, quarantine, and shield. So therefore, there's a pressure which was on people, pressure, and therefore, because of that pressure, it has imploded. So a lot of people actually have, been affected by such. So my condolences to her family, and and wish them all the best, and hope that they don't feel too guilty. I don't know if they were reaching out or sometimes, because this is sometimes the pressure is very hard in that area. So yeah, reach out, as the song said, reach out and touch someone no matter what when you have mental health. So yeah, so my just want to touch on that bit there. But I was reading something that Miss Golgota wrote, and she said The rise in police fatal shooting amid absence of worn camera footage. Yeah. A rise in fatal police shooting is never a positive indicator for public safety. It is particularly alarming when the JCF commitment to using active body worn camera is not consistently upheld, precisely at the time when they are most needed. And this is on the backdrop of the young gentleman who passed away recently. And what is it? This is Jamar Farquharson, the fatal shooting of a 22-year-old Jamar Farquharson in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon, Jamaica, on September the 15th remains under intense investigation, and public scrutiny calls for enhanced police accountability and transparency. Farquharson was unalive during a police operation at his home, with police claiming he pulled a firearm while they executed a search warrant. However, CCTV footage, and I've seen some videos, I don't want to show it, released by family members, shows Farquharson running to open the door and raising his hands in surrender. A version disputed by officers who provided initial but not yet full formal statements into investigation. It is always something to say that one dispute the police unless one has evidence to say otherwise. But then when you find evidence to say otherwise, then you say, hang on a second, what's going on here? As Monica Hanna said, police need to be accountable also. No one should be above the law. The Independent Commissions of Investigation, INDICOM, has been leading the probe, collecting exhibits and processing firearms of forensic analysis. Officers involved were due to submit statements and undergo formal interviews under legal requirements. The investigation is in the early stage with key evidence including CCTV footage inside the house under review. No officer has been charged yet. Further escalation or judicial interviews may follow depending on findings. Right? Peace and wellness, Michelle. Welcome. Mental health is a sickness. It has different stages. Peace and wellness. Yep. So it is very interesting, this particular development. And I believe that we're going to come on to the whole aspect with the body cameras. A 9mm pistol was reportedly recovered, according to police. But family and right groups strongly dispute the police narrative and allege excessive force. I was in Jamaica once, and I was driving with my brother from the airport, and there were some police, some shoot up or whatever like that, and the news reporter was making the news, and my brother was able to was able to repeat exactly what they were going to say next. He was able to repeat exactly what they were going to say because it's always the same sort of thing, The incident sparked protests, viral social media video circulation, and severe criticism from human rights organizations, including Stand Up for Jamaica, Jamaicans for Justice. Major demands center on mandated use of body-worn cameras during all police operations. Notably, none of the 23 officers in this planned operation were equipped with body-worn cameras. Yeah. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. The JFE has reiterated that the facts of this case are to be conclusively determined by INDICOM. I work with CVT, and I can say that there must be conclusive evidence. Wider context: the shooting has drawn attention to the rising number of fatal police protocols, police accountability, police encounters in Jamaica, confrontation. Over 230 people unalive by security forces since January, with September recording over 20 such deaths. Rights group and the public demand clear answers on police protocols, how evidence was preserved, the legal justification for force, and the handling of surveillance equipment, as CCTV cameras around Farkinson's home were reportedly disabled during the operation. In one of the videos I saw where they're turning it, you wonder why were they touching it. So the case highlights ongoing issues surrounding police accountability, community police relations, and the urgent call for technology and transparency reformed within the Jamaica Constable Force. The outcome of Indicom investigation, post-mortem findings, formal office interviews, and forensic analysis remains crucial for the public trust and future police reforms. So I don't know what I sense sometimes, because I don't know if anyone can confirm if there has been a report from the Prime Minister, a report from the Minister with responsibility, a report from the Commissioner. Have they come out and have they said anything to say exactly what is? And I don't see the problem whereby they can't wear body-worn cameras unless you're wanting to hide something. One thing that people say at times to me is that you wonder why the police are cover up their face and all those sort of things. But anyway, that's for them to answer as to. But you know, is Jamaica what do you call it, a police state? So Stand Up for Jamaica, which Miss Carla Gullotta is convener for, and I'm waiting for her to come on, is expressed deep alarm at the sharp rise in police involved fatalities in Jamaica. In 2025, and at recurring reports that officers were not wearing active body-worn cameras during critical interventions. According to recently published information from Indicom, the independent body charged with investigating death and serious harms caused by state agents, 230 persons have already been fatally unalive by the security forces this year. By the same date in 2024, the total was 131. That represents an approximately 76% increase year over year. Now, crime has gone down, murder has gone down, but is this what is this calling? Is this murder? Moreover, September alone has been seen at least 20 fatal shootings. That's very interesting. How are you, Miss Carla? Are you? Say hi. Are you ready? Fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring in Miss Carla Gullotta to speak. And but before I do, let me just bring her in with some lovely music to start the pace. Yeah. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Say in Jamaica, you say I am good. In the rest of the world, I am fine. Thank you very
Fantastic. And can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly, Carla?
I hear you a little better now, because before it was kind of low, but now I hear you much better.
Yes, yeah. You're
in the back.
Me? Yeah, you're in the back room. You're far away, So now you're at the front. That's why you can hear clearly.
All right.
How are you doing?
Coming closer.
Today? Yeah.
I am happy. I have been doing something which I like very much, which is spending 2-3 hours at the shelter of the homeless, because I am their director. We had quite an amount of fun. We were chatting, laughing. I brought some buns. They showed me what they did in the last weeks, because they are doing a rehabilitation programs. So they had an amount of lovely little. This is one.
Yes.
Is it nice? Yeah.
I want to say to persons on TikTok, for you to see the lovely face of Miss Gullotta, you'll have to come on to YouTube. You're only gonna see my face only.
Thank
Now,
you.
Miss Gullotta is an Italian-born human rights activist who has lived in Jamaica for more than 3 decades and is well known as the executive director of the organization Stand Up for Jamaica. She relocated from Rome to Jamaica 33 years ago and has become a prominent advocate for the rights of incarcerated people, rehabilitation, and reintegration efforts within the Jamaica penal system. Ms. Gullotta and her organization have played a key role in developing and supporting educational and rehabilitation programs in Jamaica prisons, advocating for a more human approach to justice and rehabilitation, and publicizing the need for societal acceptance of reform ex-offenders to prevent recidivism. Now, I want to go straight into this now before we go into the main meat of it. You have been having some challenges, I must say, of recent days with
You have
can
to
you hear me?
speak a little
Oh,
louder, please.
oh, you can't hear me. You
I
can't hear
hear
me.
you,
Let me.
but you're whispering. I don't know why you're so
I'm whispering.
shy.
Oh, am I whispering? Or is it? Can anyone hear me clearly? Am I clear? I'm just checking my people here. Everyone can hear me. I want to make sure it's maybe not something from your side there, Maria. I'm just checking. Are you guys hearing me clearly over there? You can hear me over there on TikTok. That's all right. But I think more likely for YouTube and Facebook. Michelle, can you hear me clearly as well? And Belinda. Okay. Well, I'll just speak up a bit louder, nevertheless. Still, Carla, tell
Thank
us
you.
about tell us about the fallout with your funding for the work that you're doing, because you're doing a very powerful work there in Jamaica. What are the challenges that you're having there now?
Well, I have been ringing the alarm because we usually get annual or 3 years or 2 years grants from different agencies. And that is helping us to plan, to know
Yes.
what we do, to know for
Mm,
how long it will last. So if I have a project, I need to know when it starts and when it's reaching its end in order to do a professional job. This year, funds coming from the United States has been frozen. So there is a big loss for stand up, but not only for stand up alone, because other agencies, other groups, human rights groups are experiencing the same problem. There is different administration. Probably in this moment there is an engagement towards defense and stuff as we learned, and therefore some of the funds that we usually were getting in January to cover the full year did
yes.
not reach, and we are in September, so they won't reach for this year. This has meaning 2, 3 things, and none of them is particularly nice. The first one, to re-evaluate the work that we do and see how best we can survive. So we have been mobilizing with everybody, and I want to say something special. Thank you to the Jamaica diaspora. The Jamaica diaspora is fantastic. I admire them because they are abroad, same as you are, but they do not
Mm,
forget at all about Jamaica. So
mm,
when we were starting to contact some of them, and also some groups which are operating in the States, we got some help. And they were very, very willing to assist. Also because all of them were also stating that they have problems in the United States due to the new administration too. So they
yes.
perfectly know where the problem is. Secondly, we were starting to ask to friends, parents, grandparents, uncle, whoever was around, some money. And third, we have been applying to entities or agencies which are belonging to other countries. For example,
Yes.
the European Union, for Canada, CARICOM, the German Embassy, the British High Commission. So we are shopping all over. So this is the challenge. The translation in action is that we had to curtail a couple of projects.
Yeah.
And I also had to dismiss a couple of people from stand up as quite an amount of people working for us. It is around 35, 36 people, which are not in office. They all on the grounds. They work in the prisons, they work with abused women, they work with the children. A lot of them work with mentally ill and homeless. So they're on the grounds doing what they're supposed to be doing. Some of them, we couldn't keep them, which means that we dismiss people which were doing a very good job. They didn't do anything wrong, right? And I really was emotional because it was something that I do not want to do, and I did not want to do, but I had to. But the second thing is that some numbers of people which receive assistance from ourselves have been decreasing. For example, we have to stop the gender-based violence project with women which were getting a professional skill, becoming financially independent, being assisted by an attorney. In April, we had to suspend it for some times. I don't want to be totally negative. I want to hope that in a couple of months we will see the success of the grants that we have been applying. It's now we applied 3 weeks ago to one, 2 weeks ago to another one, Monday to a third one, and next week to a fourth one. Something must happen.
Yes, and of course the support that you're getting from, like, in Jamaica, we know that the private sector supports the political parties very strongly. Are you getting support, like, from the private
No,
sectors? You could-
from the government, we don't receive any form of support.
yeah,
Sometimes we receive a form of partnership in terms of they allow us to work. For example, I would not be able to work in a prison without the endorsement of the Ministry of Security. So that
yes,
is what we get, but nothing else. Private sector, sometimes, but not as much as I thought. And I believe that Jamaica in this moment is not going through a magic situation. So situation are tight. You know what is very sad? That a lot of students, high students, qualified people have to leave Jamaica to find a job abroad. It is real a disgrace because Jamaica need people which are well qualified and professional. And they have to find somewhere else if they want to survive very often.
yeah, because I mean, we Jamaica just went through the elections recently, and you saw the turnout for votes were just 38, 39% turnout to vote to a certain extent. It is like okay, the government is bringing the government, but really, when you check it out, it's just 400,000 persons voted for the government back in
Well,
Opiamo.
if you look at the numbers, as you mentioned now, the party which was winning is the party of the people which did not want to vote
Yes,
because it's a majority. 39% of the people went to vote. That
yes,
means most of the people did not, they call it politics, you know it.
yes.
So
So
people do not believe too much, do not see themselves represented by the political system, or they are not also educated enough to understand that voting is not only a duty, it's a right.
it's all right. Yeah, I mean, one of the
And
things that
probably they do
yeah,
not understand.
yeah, one of the things I did say, Carl, I did say this. I said this, that if Jamaica, I'm gonna try to find a video. I said, if the turnout is as low as the last election, which was 37%, I'm going to advocate for um compulsory voting, like in Australia. I don't know if I'm gonna
Well,
repeat.
you see, last time and the time before, the percentage of people going to vote was 36, but it was under COVID.
Yes, on the
So
COVID, yes.
along
Exactly.
the COVID, everybody was saying, hey, people feel fear, they don't want to gather, they don't want to be standing in line with other people. But now we are healthy enough to go
And
to
it's just
vote.
39.
Yeah.
And it is just
This
39.
affection,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
affection should teach a lesson. I think that all those, both of the parties which are somehow representing Jamaicans, should have some serious reflections about the fact that a lot of people in Jamaica do not trust any of them.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. But let's move on now. Let's move on now to the article which you wrote. And the article you wrote was in light of the fact that the body worn cameras, I read it out a while ago, body worn cameras were not worn in the recent unaliving of that young man. But from a human right perspective, um, Carla, what can you set out your thinking behind this? Because this is not the first time we have talked about this. We have talked about this before,
No,
you know? Yeah.
yeah.
But it seems like nothing is changing, really.
Well, something is changing and it is not getting better. There is a positive news which state that crime and violence are somehow decreasing. The
Yes,
numbers
yes,
are
yes.
decreasing. Um, I hope that is true because somehow every morning we wake up and we learn that 5 people are dead, 6 people are dead, 7 people are dead. But accordingly, for example, the need of curfew, some restrictions are significantly less. While the negative numbers are showing that the amount of people which have been shot by the police has increased as 76%.
Mm.
If you compare it with last year. And we still are at the end of September, so we have 3 more months to go, and maybe there will be some more cases. That
Yeah.
is a serious concern for
Mm.
many reasons. The first one, if there must be a difference between people which are in conflict with the law and people which represent the law, we cannot expect a similar behavior. I am adamant. If you are a bad man, a gunman, I don't have big expectations from you. But if you are a police officer, I well want that you represent Jamaica at your best capacity in a professional way without raising the concern that have been raised, not
Mm.
only by stand up. Stand up is the last in line because the first concern was months ago. There was a demonstration which was called by Jamaicans for Justice,
Yes, I
and there
remember
were
that.
quite an amount of people, I have to say. Yeah. And then there were an amount of calls from Indecom, which has been repeating over and over. They cannot carry on an investigation to figure out what happened according to X episode if they don't have evidence.
Yeah.
And the evidence is represented by the footage of the body camera, which
Yeah.
is in none of the case, none
Mm.
of the controversial shooting, there was a body camera on one of the
Yeah.
officers. That is
Mm.
raising the concern because everybody say, why don't you wear it? The government bought it. They say that is almost mandatory. So what is the reason why an officer go on a situation on a site where there might be a risk? By the way, it should be a defense even for them. Because if somebody show in the camera that there is a bad man trying to kill a police officer cold blood, well, you will have to shoot. But you don't know it, you don't see it. So that has been becoming quite challenging for the amount of episodes, which are really too many, and for the fact that from the Ministry of Security and also from the Police Commissioner, there is a very strong self-defense. They
Mm.
keep saying it's not vital, Is not this the point? I think that they represent law and order, so they should be the first one to encourage those people which are in the street fighting against violence to secure that there is no shade, no shadows in what they do. Because people don't feel confident. I hear some comments around in the streets which are really disheartening because they destroy the good work which has been done from a lot of police officers, especially for community policing. Do you want an example?
Yes, please.
The example is I have been participating to an amount of activities from a police station which is central, which is in downtown Kingston. They do a great job, great. They do what we call community policing, but it's not something which is abstract. They go in the street every day, they talk to the people, they organize workshops. They have been doing a big campaign, that's why I participate, on gender-based violence, teaching the youth. They go to the school, they talk to the students. What they are doing is fantastic. And in the area, there is no shooting. There was a shooting or two in 6 months. So when you create opposite a climate of mistrust between the community and the police, you destroy that good work, which is showing that there are positive results. Because if in downtown area they don't kill as many people as before, but just really harmful, is thank you to what has been done by those which are working at Central Police Station. But probably in other areas, when there are these confrontations, this climate does not exist. And the community does not want to talk to the police. And if somebody opens his mouth, he's called informer. So it is much more difficult to fight against crime.
You know, I was thinking the other day as well that you know, with the work that you're doing, and the recent case of this young gentleman, for argument's sake, the cherry tree lane or something like that. Is that the place called Cherry Tree Lane? Um,
Yeah.
do are those people trusting of the police in that area? You know, that's where you need, because when you see the video and you see what is happening, and even the gentleman that even said that he's not going to live there anymore because the police keep coming up and down the road. So therefore, you would think that there would be some sort of liaison from the government in the community. I don't know. It could be happening. It could be happening. I don't want to make any pronouncement. I mean, you know.
But remember that each community is represented by a member of parliament. So there must
Yes.
be a strong link, because the member of parliament is representing his own area and the needs of the area and the challenges of the area and the success of the area. So the link between the political system and the communities is a key element. And when some community have been somehow ruled by dons, that has not been helping the trust of the people, because people go to the don for what they need instead of going maybe to the police or come to us, etc. It's a sort, well, originally I'm Italian, right? You told it, you say it before. In Italy,
Yeah.
there is a system called mafia.
Yes.
I know it very well, and I hate it with all my energies, because it's a system of collusion and connection, which is for the happy few, which gives privilege to those which comply with certain requests, which is bringing corruption,
Yeah.
and is leaving absolutely out all the poor, fragile, vulnerable people which do not have any possibility to have any form of weight in that situations.
Yeah.
So when you see these kind of situations, they do not help. And I think that we should all together make an effort on one item, education.
Yeah.
People which are not well educated or school which are not functioning produce people which depend mentally from others. They can be manipulated, maybe they can't manage it on their own.
Yes. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining. I'm with Miss Carla Gullotta. She's a human rights activist and is the executive director of the organization Stand Up for Jamaica. And we're having this discussion on Cornerflex and evening with Miss Gullotta. Gullotta, I was thinking what you said earlier, because before you came on, I was speaking about the fact that there are 27 ministers of government and 35 members of parliament. It will be very interesting to find out who is a member of parliament for that particular area, because now that they are ministers, and there's going to be some contradiction whereby you're going to speak up for the people. Now you're a minister, you're part of the executive. So therefore, the question would be like just what you said there. That member of parliament should be the one brokering between the people and the government, and because he's brought, well, he or she is brought there in place there because of the people, and
It has
therefore,
been selected by them.
yes, well, I don't know about being selected by them, because they get selected, the
Almost.
people the people voted for them. That's the way how it should really work, and I feel it for the people, because, and I feel it for the young gentleman there, and what is happening. And I'm not going to say there's cover up or anything, because there must be justice for him. There must be justice. Do you think there'll be justice, Maria?
I don't know. I'm not going there
You're not going to
because
go there.
the
Mm,
justice, the access to justice is quite challenging with a lot of the people which we are working with. Um, I'm thinking about the famous incarcerated mentally ill, which are there in a prison since 30 years without a trial. I'm
mm,
thinking about how many women we try to, in the last 4 years, we have been working with 600 women, providing them with an attorney. A case, my last 6 years, 6 years, which in that time frame, the woman has not really a strong defense because the perpetrator can still go back. He might be having a restraining order, but if you want to go, nobody will stop it. We have been working with quite an amount of people which have been abused along their life in their families, case of domestic abuse, etc. The length of the trial is dramatic. But also the other dramatic thing is if you don't have no cash, who's gonna pay for a good attorney? That is one of the things, the reasons why we decided to have a team of attorney, which is pretty expensive, I would say, but not as much as others because they work as attorneys for human rights activities. So they cut their fee a lot,
yes.
but we only can assist X amount of people. What happened to the ones which are asked for one interview with an attorney, 500, 600 US? They don't have it. So when you talk about that guy, it depends what the family will do. It depends what the family can do, and it depends also from us a little. What can we offer to those which have been in need to be getting a good professional legal representation? We do it, but it's not enough.
Mm. So therefore, is it that you need like pool of lawyers international that can come in, or pro bono or so?
Well, as I said, our attorneys, they curtail their honorari in a dramatic way, especially when they see some cases. So there are two of them which have been working pro bono on 5 cases in 5 months. But also them, they have to put some bread on their table. So I don't think that what I call charity in these cases can work. I think that what it should work is what I call rights. Like people should be at the right to have a distant defense. Otherwise, let me go back to the famous mentally ill. We finally got out some of them. And I think that everybody knows because we have been campaigning since 6 years, abundant.
Yes.
340. Now there are 195. It's still a lot.
Yes.
To get them out has been a living hell, because they were there long time and nobody was knowing where the family were. They cannot advocate for themselves because they are mental. So they need somebody which is a family member, a tutor, which is advocating for them. But the monster was one of the most shocking things I experienced in my work, is that most of them were detained without a trial. Can you keep somebody 35, 40? So there is one which has been a big example, George Williams. We got him out, we went to the trial was lasting 3.5 years. He got 2 months ago the compensation of 120 million Jamaican dollars. That is not going to be helping him to get back the 50 years that he spent in jail. He's very old, 50 years. The money won't compensate. No money can compensate that. He's old, he is mental, he is very fragile, he does not remember the things. And with the attorneys, the family, he has a wonderful family, very nice family, which has been fighting with him. We will use that money to guarantee that we will have a little lovely house, 2 nurses, medical care, health care, fun, a little bit of fun, like going places to end up his life, because he's not going to live another 20 years. I don't think so at all. And it's a similar situation. And in fact, we also have been presenting an affidavit to the Supreme Court for 44 more.
Yes.
And I hope that George Williams' victory, if I can call it like this, but it's a part, can open an avenue to assist more and to guarantee that at least they are compensated.
Yeah.
That is a justice system.
The role of persons like yourselves, the Justice for Jamaica, Advocates Network, Stand Up for Jamaica, they play a very key role, isn't it, in that balancing that conscience of the nation to a certain extent, isn't it?
Sometimes, well, that is our advocacy, right?
Yes.
Defending human rights, which means defending the rights for everybody, a police officer, a doctor, a nurse, a homeless, a LGBTQ person, everybody. This is our mandate.
Yes.
But then you have to we have a mandate. Then you translate it in action. I do not like to do only advocacy. I do it a lot, but advocacy requires a long time to achieve a success, maybe. In the meantime, you have a Miss Pinky which is coming to your office and say, Mom, I have the money to pay the light. Or you have another woman coming to the office and say, my husband, stop. So you have to be able to give answers. Yes. So the idea is, okay, let's advocate for But in the meantime, my idea personally, this is stand up, has been created with this double mandate. I don't want to say no to people which are coming asking for help in my capacity. So sometimes I am not able, but as far as we can, yes.
Yeah. That's but now I think the key thing now though, and we can even refer back to the young gentleman for argument's sake, which is Mr. Farquharson. In a case like Mr. Farquharson, for argument's sake, how would Stand Up for Jamaica carry it through advocating for him, or it is with the permission of the parents or the family? Or you can do it.
First step is depending from the family. The family will have to decide if they want to come to us or if they prefer to find another agency. We are working together a lot, right? Because as you perfectly understand, we don't reach everywhere. So working together, we are like 6-7 groups which are really try to build a network. Help us, because if somebody is doing, I don't know, police killing, I don't do it. I look after children. If somebody is working on LGBTQ community, I support the campaign, but I don't need to work on that, and I do something else. So the all of us somehow we have been looking about creating a specific expertise on some grounds. So if somebody has an abused woman which is going, I don't know, to JFJ, they send it to us. If somebody has a relative which has a problem with the police, I send it to JFJ and other groups. It helps because the panorama is very wide. And if you pretend to do everything, you don't do it well. So it's better that all of us try to see which is our portfolio. But when we go to the advocacy, we work together and we decide all together what we consider as a priority for a campaign. 1 year can be the children, 1 year can be the migrants, we try to do it a lobby all together because supporting each other give us some extra amount of power.
But you will also be criticized for standing up for bad elements in the society, isn't it? They always say sometimes that Justice for Jamaica and these civil society groups, they are the enemy of the state. Sometimes that people will say that's a general challenge, isn't it?
Sometimes we are not popular. There were 2-3 times where I was bombed with critics. Honestly, I don't care. I mean, I care because I'm a human being, so I can be also fragile sometimes when I see the wave of hate. Plus, this is a moment which is not only in Jamaica, where hate is dominant on compassion and inclusion. Look around at what's happening all over, not only in Jamaica, right? So people are killed, wars all over, thousands of children in Gaza, thousands of people in Ukraine, thousands of people in Sudan. This is a moment which is very difficult because it's not promoting some principles which are the ones that we believe in. I don't see you anymore. What happened?
I'm here. I'm right here. I'm right here. Can you see me? I'm right here.
I don't see you.
I'm here. Can you? I can. I don't know what
I trust you, but I don't see you.
No, I can. You can. Can you hear me? We are seeing you. I can see myself on the system because I got a
Yeah, I find you back. It looks like I had been touching. I'm not very technological. Let's
Okay,
go.
that's all right. That's all right. That's okay. That's okay.
So going back to being popular. If I wanted to be popular, I would have found another. The important thing is that we keep dialogue also with those which are criticizing, because everybody's free to have his own opinion, her or his own opinion. So if somebody come to me and tell me that I'm a perfect idiot, I do not send into the hair. I try to sit down and say, explain me. Sometimes if you have patience, if you discuss, if you open a dialogue, people can also understand where is your route in terms of what you want to do. Well, sometimes they don't. So you have also to accept there was a time 2 years ago which I wrote something, an editorial, and I got 800 negative comments. Go back a yard, what you want. Okay, I lost. I probably was saying something which was not popular, but I would do it again. As far as I am sure that it is sticking with this concept of inclusion for everybody. Yeah.
And you know, Jamaicans, when they're ready, they speak their mind.
Yeah, but on the other hand, let me tell you something. Also, there are some beautiful moments. Beautiful. Like you feel that 1 month ago, for the first time in history, the prisons have graduated at with the University of Commonwealth Caribbean, 27 inmates with a bachelor and a master. It was an emotional day. They were there with the bond, etc., etc. Big man and big women.
Can I just clarify?
When I was looking,
sorry, 27 inmates. 27 inmates, yes?
achieved a master.
Yes. Okay. Please carry on.
Achieved the master, and when they were reading the evaluation, all of them got magna cum laude, which is the top of the tops. It was a moment, well, a couple of them were crying, right? I was trying not to cry, but I felt it because I know how difficult it was for them and how much help was offered by DCS, by the university, by ourselves to make it happen.
Yes.
So you also have to, I learned my little lesson. When I can be happy, I try to be happy. Because I see so many negative things sometimes that I risk to go in depression, which I don't want to do. So that moment for me, I put it in my kitty. It was a beautiful moment. It is a beautiful opportunity. We have another 28 which are starting now.
Yes.
So there are also beautiful moments. Another one became an attorney, and he was inviting us to the graduation. And he was saying, I am an ex-inmate. And I was saying, no, what he did, now it's going to be a mess. No. And when he finished his speech, he was saying, Miss Gullotta, every year I will do 3 cases pro bono for you.
Wow, yeah. That's awesome. So tell me, what is it then about Jamaica? While you're still in Jamaica?
Well, I am Jamaican. I got my citizen. I have a dual citizenship. I am Jamaican. So I became Jamaican 20, I'm not sure, 19 or 20 years ago.
Okay.
I belong to Jamaica. After so many years. I have my family here, my grandchildren here, my friends here, my cats here, my work here. Jamaica is my country. When I go to Italy, I like it for 3 weeks, but it's my holiday. I don't feel I belong. I don't belong to Italy anymore. I belong to here because it's here that I make my life, and I like it.
So therefore, go on, please. You're saying something.
No, there is only one thing which I want to say, and I hope that not too many Europeans get offended. One of the reasons why I love Jamaica is because I love life very much. I'm an old lady. On Sunday, I go to dance. There is a oldest place near to my house. if I'm not too tired, I love to go dance. When you go to Europe, the approach to life to most of the Europeans, I don't want to say everybody, is
Yeah.
so negative that
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable because
Mm.
they have much more privilege. If you look at Jamaica, right? They
Mm.
have a better service, a health service, justice service, bonus for the children. They don't pay anything for the school, for the books. They have an amount of privilege. Why do you complain about everything?
Mm.
So after some weeks, I start to run out of patience and I catch the first flight and come back to my place. Yeah.
And I need to ask you this question then. So do you still involve? Are you still a citizen of Italy then, or you renounce that?
Yes, I have a dual citizenship.
Oh, so what, you vote in the election, the recent elections?
I can vote in Italy, yes.
Ah,
When
that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Like a big thing in Jamaica, Jamaicans overseas voting. Tell us about that.
if you want to ask me, I have to say that actually I'm also advocating for the people of the diaspora to be able to vote. If Jamaicans abroad are
Yes.
still so passionate,
Yeah.
Jamaicans abroad, they love Jamaica a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe they
Yeah.
don't come back because they have more money or what. But Jamaicans are very Jamaicans. And they try to help.
Yes.
80% of the families in Jamaica receive money every month, right?
Yes. Yes.
Somebody working abroad is going to send X amount of money to help the family to survive in Jamaica. So this tie should be translated, for me, my humble opinion, in the fact that Jamaicans should be allowed to vote.
Well, can I tell you this? Can I tell you this? What the minister said is that you can still vote from overseas by taking the plane and come home to vote.
Pago money.
Huh?
Not everybody can afford a trip to Jamaica to pay the flight, the hotel, or whatsoever. It might cost 1,000 and more. Imagine if somebody living in UK.
Yes.
If somebody is in Florida, okay, the flight is 350 US,
Yeah.
but it's still a
Yeah.
month. If I can explain what happened in Italy, when there are elections, the Italian government send to each and every one who is formally resident abroad
Okay.
an envelope, the you call it DHL, FedEx, etc., whatever.
Yeah.
You receive that envelope. Into the envelope, there is your thing that you can vote, express
Yes.
your same equal to it.
Yes.
But in the envelope also, there is another envelope which allow you to send back your vote. So you receive the envelope, exercise your right to vote, and send it back. I think that is very expensive because Italians abroad are millions. But the right to vote, it is somehow something that keep you part of a country, even if you're not physically there.
So therefore, so what you're saying to me then is that irrespective of the fact that it is expensive, what is overpowering is the fact that they treat their citizens having a right to vote in their elections. So they don't so the expense bit is not an issue.
The expense is an issue.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, we pay some through our taxes because the tax system in
Yeah.
Jamaica is pretty high. So I think that there is quite a contribution even from myself to my envelope, which go in traveling up and down.
Yes.
But I also think that is showing that in Italy, the disaffection that we experience in Jamaica is not there. Because I remember one time, I've been also the Italian consul for Jamaica, right? And there was one time that there were elections and these famous envelopes were reaching with delay. There were 200 phone calls from all the Italian residents saying, "Wow, I want my envelope, I want to vote."
Yeah.
So that show that what you experience in Jamaica, people don't think that it is very valuable to go to vote because they are not represented by the political party. In Italy, is the opposite. They want to vote.
One thing I've seen though is that your prime minister gets along well with Trump. They're like bosom buddies, you know. Um,
Maybe a little bit too much, right?
a very palace. I want to, before we go, I want to just ask you. I have your number, which is up there for ladies and gentlemen if they want to actually support. That number is correct, yeah. Just look at it. That is correct, yeah.
I have to put on the glasses today.
Yes.
Well, this is my cellular phone, which was not supposed to be shared.
Oh,
Um,
it's not supposed to be there. Okay, I can
no,
take
I
it off.
explain you. I am happy to share the thing. I try to be a little careful with myself because sometimes I receive an amount of threats and I don't want to involve my children and my grandchildren in something which is my choice and not their choice.
No, no.
So the
No, no, the number. What I'll do is I'll take
gone
off.
and done, too late.
Huh?
There is another number also that can be used if somebody has a pen or a pencil, which is the office number,
What
which
is
is
that?
one
+1.
eight 1876
One second. One
948.
second. I'll do it. I'll do it. Uh, I'll just do it here. +1 8. Yeah. 1 8. Yeah.
76.
Sorry. 1876. Yeah.
That is a Jamaica code.
Yes.
And then 948
948. Yeah.
8973.
8973.
Plus, we have a website, Stand Up for Jamaica.
I've got that. I've got that. I've got the
We have
website
a
there.
Facebook page. We have Instagram, but we don't have TikTok.
You don't have TikTok.
No.
Okay. Okay. Here's okay. This is one there with your number there. Let me just do something here. Edit.
Yeah, and if people want, you see, if people want to participate, there are quite an amount of people which are working with us as volunteer.
Yes.
Usually when they want to do something, I ask them, I explain what to do, and I ask them, what do you like? How much time you have? You may have somebody which can come once per week, and somebody can come once per month, somebody which is good in advocacy, somebody which is good in this video clip, but which I am totally, completely incapable. So it is according to their likes, it is
Yes.
according to their availability. The only thing they have to know, and I say it in advance, whoever is working with us, we work in very tough environments. It's not a walk through the Eden. So it must be people which are not discriminating anybody and very patient and very human, because we work, as I said, with people which have some huge challenges.
Okay. 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 Well, your number is there now, and the email
Let me
address.
put on the glasses and
Your glasses.
control 948 8970. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. I
and
appreciate it.
the website is there as well. So ladies and gentlemen, please support. I mean, what is it? I'm so thankful for your time, for those important things currently going on in and around the island of Jamaica. Grateful to your comments. Plus, somebody just writing a comment there as
Let
well.
me look. And so
Yeah,
thank you for your time. So this is very important. Thank you.
yeah. and somebody has just confirmed that they got the details. They got the details there, so I'll just let the details um let the details be shown up there. It's very
No, man, we
important.
have some people which are helping us. I mentioned before the shelter of the homeless in Port Antonio. And there is one lady which is coming to do the training to them. And every time she has to drive 2 hours and 20 minutes to go and 2 hours and 20 minutes to go back home.
Yes,
They're
yes, yes,
beautiful people, you know. There
yes.
are a lot of beautiful people. So don't be always bitter and negative. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, definitely. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your thoughts and your aspiration and love for Jamaica, and also to defend those who are defenseless. To defend those who need justice and speak up for those as well. And I really
Yeah.
hope that that young gentleman, there'll be some justice for him, or we can see exactly what is really happened, or what transpired, why the police unalived him, as they would say in TikTok terms, because I'm on TikTok. That's why I use the word unalive, because this is
I
the
have
streaming
some
of.
prejudice.
Huh? What's that?
I have some prejudice towards TikTok.
Yeah, I know, but because I'm on it and they have this, so I've got to comply with their community guidelines and their things, but nevertheless, still it serves its purpose. All right, well, thank you so much, Carla, and we'll keep in touch, and I wish you all the best as well. Any
Let me
last word?
say,
Any last word you wanted to say, Carla?
the last sentence. First of all, I want to say, obviously, thanks to you for
Yeah.
this opportunity to share thoughts,
Mm.
etc., etc. And then I want to encourage whoever feels that he can do not only only we stand up in his village, in his family, in his they can do one little good thing. Do it because
Yes.
it makes you feel excellent between you and you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, for you still have some good timing. Somebody said, I guess you know what this word is. You know what that word is?
Ciao Bella. This is in Italian.
uh, yeah. I said pasta,
Oh God. Yeah,
pasta,
you see one
salami.
thing we should forget who we are in terms of where we come from. Where
Yeah.
we are human beings.
Yes.
Let's like each other as we are.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Carla. Have a good one and enjoy the rest of the evening in Jamaica as much as
Same
possible.
to you.
All
Same to
right.
you. I'm gonna
Peace
eat
out.
some aki.
Aki. Oh, why,
Yeah.
why, why do you have to say that now? Oh, shucks. People overseas are gonna be a bit annoyed with you now for saying that. Anyway, we want to enjoy your Aki anyhow still, because we can't get it. Aki's very expensive in the UK now. Very
No, it's
expensive.
not expensive. I have an aki
No,
tree in my yard.
no. I'm
Ah,
talking in the
all
UK
right.
here.
When you
It's
come
very
to Jamaica,
expensive.
make sure that you find some aki.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Definitely, definitely. See you later, Carla.
Holy for blessings.
Blessings. Bye bye. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for joining with Miss Carla Gullotta, Stand Up for Jamaica, and very very interesting discussion about her role in Jamaica, and dealing with the whole aspect of the what should I say, executive chair of the organization, and also looking at how to help those who are in need of help. She's an Italian-born human rights activist, lived in Jamaica for more than 3 decades, is Jamaican, and is well known as executive director of the organization Stand Up for Jamaica. She's one of those organizations that I've sort of worked with. There's like National Integrity Alliance, National Integrity in Action, Advocates Network, Jamaicans for Justice. I sort of, in principle, sort of support these organizations as much as possible. And with Miss Professor Rosalie Hamilton, and with JAMP, of course, Jeanette Calder, Daniel Archer. I believe it's important. And these are some very strong women. in Jamaica. Actually, there's actually all of them are led by ladies, very strong women, I must say, in Jamaica, and I do support them from overseas as to what they're doing in Jamaica, because I believe that uh, the groups, the civil societies, those groups really do a massive work, and they're not really much time supported um, in Jamaica. Sometimes they're, I mean, in the recent days, they are deemed to be an arm of one political party because they speak up on different issues, and they are, and I know that they are very genuine persons, but based on how the political atmosphere is, and if they speak up on something which is critical of the present administration, then they are deemed to be the other side of the political fraternity, which is really unfortunate. And I really hope that um, Jamaicans or people really look beyond politics at times and the colors, and to look at the objectivity of certain things at this point. And with this situation with this young gentleman, for argument's sake, I'm not going to bet you, but if it turns out to be something which is very critical of the administration, critical of how they may be covering up certain things or what, um, persons who come out there and want to speak up on their behalf, seeking justice, it will turn out to be something political, which is unfortunate. And I hope it doesn't go that way as well. You know? So yeah, without further ado, there's the details. Miss Carla Gullotta, telephone number 876-948-8973. Email address Carla Jamaica51 at gmail.com. Website standupforjamaica.org. One can partnership and one can support them as to what they're doing. And there I leave that for you as well. So without further ado, I'm going to call it a night. And I want to thank you so much for joining. And remember, where's the figures now? Let me tell you. Let me say where the figures now. I mean, it has increased the um the, the digital ID. Okay, 2.062 761 signatures. That is growing, man. 2.062. Oh, 813 signatures by the second. I think by the end of the night, it's going to be 5 million, more than likely. So Keir Starmer, watch it. I know he's at the Labour Party conference. You know, but days are being numbered. Keir Starmer, people want to get you out of this system, of this Babylon system. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Remember to like and subscribe, and peace out, and God bless you. Bye bye.